Don't engage alone. We do this together.
Yeah,
We got it! We got it!
New 52 book.
somebody clip this one.
Welcome to Comics League Movie Night. I am Jared, and I am here with the boys, and we are talking about Army of Thieves. So let's bring in the gents.
All the hopes and dreams of Krypton live in you now.
Teladia, how are you, sir?
Are we ready to open some safes? Because I sure am.
Oh, heck yeah. And next we're going to burn our way into this safe.
Flame on. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing very well. So let's get started. We are talking about Army of Thieves. So this is the prequel to Army of the Dead. The reason why I figured let's not cover Army of the Dead on this stream is because we've covered it twice before, so it doesn't make
Arguably
sense.
3 times.
Arguably 3 times, but yeah.
A while back.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't really make a lot of sense for us to cover it for like a 4th time. So we're just going to leave that out. Because so this is the story of JJheat the Safecracker. And I will say, to get started, the scene where he's uploads a YouTube video and it doesn't get any views. Oh boy, did that bring back memories. Oh boy.
That is relatable, not gonna lie.
That is relatable. Yeah.
And that anticipation when you get one view, I'm like, someone watched.
You're like, yes.
But so let's get started. So let's talk about. I'll go around the panel, our general thoughts on the movie, and then we'll go into more specifics. So Teladia, you first.
Like, overall, the film, I loved it because I love these types of, like, safe crack, adventure type of film. Plus, it has the star from Fast and Furious in this film. Like, I'm just like, yes, thank you, I'll watch it. And furthermore, Zack Snyder's producing this. So it's like, of course, anything Zack's producing, I'll watch.
Anything that has Zack Snyder's name on it, we'll watch. What's up, Tevia? We're talking about Army of the Dead. I mean, sorry, Army of Thieves. Man, I'm confused. Hey, what's up, Lord Thoth? How you doing? So what's really cool about this movie is, yeah, it pretty much is. They separated from the zombies enough so you know that it's taking place in the zombie universe, but it's just a straight up heist movie, which that definitely helps. And I will say, going into this, the visual effects of when they go inside the safe as he's like cracking it, that is my favorite part of this movie, because it's like, of course it's visual because it's Zack Snyder. So are you kidding me? There's no way Zack creates a movie that's not visually gorgeous, but it was just like, wow. What do you guys think?
Like, visually stunning, it looks stunning as visual effects. Like, when you slowly turn the thing dial to open up the safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you get to see what it does on the inside. We've never seen that in any other, safe crack type of film, like Ocean's 11 or any of those types of films. We've never seen that type of thing. Like, how do you guys think?
As for me, I actually enjoyed this movie for what it is. You can tell it was before the zombie apocalypse, but if I'm being
it's taking place during it.
Okay, during it, because but still, it's so standalone. You could actually see this as a one-off, and nothing would change. It doesn't affect the story. Like,
yeah, that's why I didn't think we had to cover Army to understand the story of this movie, because it's pretty self-contained. But are we getting an animated series? Yes, we are, Tevia. Yes, we are. And by the way, guess what I just realized? Next week is Rebel Moon. So I think it's safe to say what we're covering next week for movie night.
Wait, what?
Next week is Rebel Moon. Next, I think Friday is the 22nd.
No, that's
that's
a
2
week and a
weeks.
half from now.
I don't mean this coming Friday. I mean the next Friday.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's safe to say that that's going to be our thing. But speaking of we are getting that. So JJheat, real quick, since you're here as well, what do you think about the general thoughts on Army of the Dead?
General thoughts of Army of the Dead. It was a solid movie. It was a solid zombie story with a little bit of a heist theme. And I really didn't expect. The only ones you could arguably survive were Dieter and one more, and they kind of get sealed in the vault until they starve to death. And
well,
then
remember, Dieter was not sealed in the vault, though.
Wait, so who? I must be confusing him for someone else because I know one of them got sealed.
Devereaux got sealed in the vault, and as Zack said, unless you see someone die, they're not dead.
Yeah, Devereaux got sealed in the vault. My mistake.
And then he woke up, and I think that's how the zombie virus spreads.
Yes, because one of them does get on a plane and become patient zero. Yeah, I remember. It's coming back to me. It's been a minute since I've seen Army of the Dead. Not gonna lie.
It's a really good movie. I love it. But so let's see. What other comments are the people saying? I think the Bautista character was killed. Yeah, he was definitely killed. He was shot in the head, so he's dead. He's dead. But moving on. So again, it shouldn't surprise anyone that the visual effects of this movie is great. But so here's the general plot. Dieter / his real name is Sebastian, but he changed his name to Dieter. We'll explain later. Is like a safe YouTuber. In other words, he explains the story behind safes. He gets one comment from the Fast and the Furious tech lady. Witness protection program theory stands here. She tells him, "Hey, come here, and we'd love to test your skills." The skill is you have to. It's a safe cracking race. So he has to do it before everyone else does, and then he gets. That's how he tryouts for the job. And I will say, I love how it's basically like a game tournament.
Like something out of like Squid Game or
something like that. Something like that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and again, yeah, it's so we get that, and then we actually like meet the team because obviously he wins. I love how the last safe, he's like taking his time. He's just like, okay, and then crack, I'm in. And so he cracks the safe and he's recruited. So what's cool about this movie is that they also factor in. So we meet the team, and we've got like the stereotypical American action hero, was she Brazilian or the hacker?
I want to say Brazilian.
Okay, the point is she's the hacker who hacked into I think it was like Universal to get like the Pirates of the Caribbean 2 movie. Which I'm like, well, that's relevant to today.
I'm having flashbacks, but man, that scene did not age well. It
really exactly. And so they find the safe, and we get the typical Dieter, if you've seen Army of the Dead, where he's doing this. I have to warm up my instruments, and he's like very eccentric, but it works. He opens the damn safe.
He does,
and he gets away with it.
He gets away with it, and they escape, and he's like super jazzed up. They're making sandwiches, and they're like, "Is this the bonding?" He goes, "If you want it to be the bonding." I just love how socially awkward he is.
Yeah. Like the way he plays the character, Dieter's character is amazing.
And fun fact: the guy who plays Dieter, he directed this movie.
Yes.
Which not bad, but so essentially, they're going through. I think it's called like the circle or something like that. It's like the ring or so. The point is,
the ring.
There's a challenge where you have to go through each of. We have to hack all three of the safes, and the way this ties into Army of the Dead was awesome. By the way, Tevia says, "I'm still curious as to how Army of the Dead connects to Rebel Moon because frankly, both movies are still in two different." Well. what he says is, I think in the Army of the Dead animated series, that will be explained. Right, Teladia? Is that what Zach said?
I think so. Sammy would know more than I would.
Yeah, she probably would. Where is that queen? Where's Snyder Queen? Anyway, so what? So essentially, yeah, and we'll explain how it connects later. But essentially, this has all the good tropes of like a heist movie. There's a betrayal. There's a sort of romance. There's the cop that's chasing them, and it's pretty dope. Okay, so they get 3 of the 4 safes by this guy. I think I forget what his name is, but I'm just gonna call him Hans. I believe his name was Hans. So what's the 4th safe, Teladia?
The biggest bank in Europe, I believe.
No. The 4th safe is the one in Army of the Dead.
Oh, yeah.
That's how they link it. And I was like, because that's the end of the movie with Dave Bautista's character walking in and going, "We need you to hack this safe." And he's like, "Ooh."
Yeah, because in Army of Thieves, they're the 4 most notorious safes in the world, but they only cracked 3 over the course of the film. The 4th one, the spoilers if you haven't seen the movie at this point, but with the 4th one, the heist is a bust. They have to go their separate ways, and I believe Dieter gets the girl in the end, but she ends up turning herself in right before the zombie outbreak happens.
No, remember, the zombie outbreak is happening now during the entire film.
Okay.
Now, what's interesting, there's this line in the movie. I want to say it's Zach talking to the audience, but this could be me having a tin hat, where he goes, "In order to understand his work, you have to engage with it." Which I'm like, because I'm wondering if that's Zach going, "Hey, listen, guys, to understand my work, you actually have to think." And when I'm watching that, yeah, exactly, right? I'm like, wait a second here. I ain't no Marvel director. Just kidding.
Yeah, you have to be Zach in order to know. That's what it is. That's what he's trying to say to us. You got to be me to basically know things.
Mm-hmm. Which, hey, I'm like, hey, good on you. I also love where like he's trying the 3rd safe he has to hack in the back of a moving truck, and he's like screaming. He's like, "Ah!" And yeah, the humor in this movie is like really on point. Like when everyone startles him and he spills coffee all over himself, he goes, "My chest hairs are burning off." Were there any on there? They were blonde, so you couldn't see them that easily, but they were there.
It's such a hilarious film. There's so many funny points in this film that I really enjoyed, and furthermore, it was like the action, the thriller, the excitement. It was all there, right? Plus that chase scene. Oh, on point. Chef's kiss.
Yeah, again, it's the way that I want to talk about that. The way this movie handles action is superb, and it's like, and again, I want to circle back to this. The way that each safe is like, we see the inside of each safe as he's doing it. It kind of makes you think it's his superpower to crack safes because he has his ear up to the thing and he can hear all those tumblers moving.
Yes.
And that's why I love it, because first off, VFX looks flawless. Not surprising because it's a Zack Snyder movie. He didn't direct it, but still Zack Snyder produced.
Yeah. Anything Zack Snyder has in it, you have to watch.
Except for 302.
Why?
The Rise of the Empire movie, because that wasn't as good as the first one.
It really wasn't, if I'm being completely honest.
But besides that, right? Everything else you can watch.
Yeah, everything else you can watch and it's good. And again, I want to circle back to JJheat's comment. Yeah, if you just watch this movie by itself, it's pretty self-contained, and you can watch Army after this and just go, okay, that's there because of the way it ends. It ends in the beginning of Army.
But you know what? You know what I was gonna say?
Mm-hmm.
This could give Ocean's 11 a run for its money.
Yeah, again, and that's why in the thumbnail I called it Oceans with Zombies. Because that's pretty much what it is. Let's face it. It's pretty much Oceans with zombies. But
wait, didn't Oceans get the Ghostbusters treatment, 2016 Ghostbusters treatment a few years ago?
I will say, I saw that one. It wasn't as bad as Ghostbusters 2016, but it wasn't as good as the other movies, I would say. Hey, what's up, David? How you doing, my brother?
Hey, David.
What's up?
Yeah, I mean, Oceans was not the all-female Oceans was not that bad. I just didn't like Sandra Bullock because she's too like low energy.
Yeah, not gonna lie, she is kind of low energy. If I'm being, I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah.
She is low energy.
Yeah, which I'm fine with this being Yeah, exactly. Self-contained. You don't have to watch the other movies. So that way, if you like just safe cracking movies, hey, watch this. If you like safe cracking movies with mercenaries and zombies, there's Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead.
And it's interesting. This is like how like crazy Zack Snyder's brain is because he has 3 worlds going on. Because he's still thinking about if Netflix pulls it off and he can continue his DC movies. He's already thinking about that world. Then you got Rebel Moon. Then you got this. This dude is like in 3 worlds at once.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. Hey, I still think the DC stuff could happen. But anyway, so onto this. And what's cool about that is the references to the first movie, because the reason why I say it's taking place at least during the very beginning of the zombie apocalypse, because on the news they talk about it, but it doesn't look like it's that like spread out yet in Las Vegas.
No, it doesn't look like as if it was that spread out. But I can say this much for Army of Thieves, for what it is, it lives up to the expectations. I don't know why people think that. Some people think that it's just a generic film. I'm just like, no, it's a great film. You have to watch it.
Yes, are all the DCEU movies on Netflix
Not,
right now?
not all of them.
Not all of them. Most of them are, and I believe they're adding more ones. If you notice, so Justice League is on there, but now Netflix doesn't let you watch it.
Wait, what?
Yeah, hang on. Hey, what's up, Droga? How you doing, dude? So let me check this real quick, because I saw someone posted on Twitter that Justice League is on Netflix, but you can't watch it. I'm testing this right now, so let me see. Justice.
Wait, so
League.
If it's not on Netflix, if you can't watch it on Netflix, I think they're trying to get the rights for Zack Snyder's Justice League.
It's not on the American version of Netflix, so I can't check that. My dad was watching Man of Steel yesterday. I saw him watching Black Adam. Yeah, exactly. Those ones are on there. I believe BVS Theatrical, Man of Steel, yes. Green Lantern, Black Adam, Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad, both Shazam movies, both Wonder Woman movies are on there. And I believe Aquaman is on there as well. Why not Zack Snyder's Justice League? Because Warner Brothers, Tevia, that's why. And you know what? Because I mentioned the studio that must not be named, I think I have to.
Yeah, second Warner Brothers.
There you go.
That's what Zack has to say.
That's what Zack has to say. Because at this point, and remember, so I bet Netflix buys the rights to the Snyderverse would be sick to see the end of that story. Yeah, exactly. I think they will after, again, the way I see this happening, if it happens at all, you could think it's not going to happen, but if it does, here's the scenario. Rebel Moon comes out, and it's not going to come out and then immediately they're going to purchase it. What's probably going to happen is that it'll come out. It'll be like a couple of a month or 2 to 3 months. Then we're going to start hearing about Netflix and Warner Brothers possibly making a deal. Particularly also if there's a sale going on. Well, if there's a sale going on, it may delay it because they may not want to make any other deals until the sale goes through. In which case, I could see Universal saying, let's go ahead and do it. But the point is, we won't know anything until latest or middle of next year.
Summer of 2024, guys.
But it's dependent upon Rebel Moon doing well. So watch the crap out of that movie. Sell Marvel to Amazon Prime. I know you're trolling. I know you're trolling, Draga. I know you're trolling.
Axel is trolling.
Like,
Yep.
I mean, you might as well with the way the MCU's going downhill. I mean, I won't blame him
actually,
for
you know what?
thinking that.
That's not actually a bad idea.
But
Do
then
you
I remember
believe-
Rings of Power, and I'm like, yeah, that's a double-edged sword either way.
Tevia says, "Do you believe Rebel Moon will succeed and beat both Disney and Warner Bros?" Yes.
Yep.
I do think this. I think that this is going to kick the ass out of Star Wars.
And quick disclosure, we are not saying this because we are fans of majority of Zack Snyder's work. 2023 has not been a good year for the big two at all. It hasn't.
Or the big three, if you count Lucasfilm.
Okay, but that's a subdivision of Disney, but I'll let you have that. So by that trifecta, it wouldn't be that hard of a hurdle to cross. But yeah, Rebel Moon's going to sell gangbusters. Let's be honest.
Particularly, here's the funny part: if it gets higher viewership than Disney Star Wars, because Disney Star Wars so far has only been on streaming. So can you imagine if it kicks the ass out of Disney Star Wars? And remember, this was a pitch rejected by Disney
multiple times, and Warner Brothers 3.
And Warner Brothers. If I will say, I'm going to play the "Suck It Warner Brothers" clip many times on that Rebel Moon review, boys. Many times.
Wait, the last time Warner Brothers was in a situation like this, the Snyder Cut won an Oscar. Yeah. Like, for real.
Well, and the time before that is when the Snyder Cut was released.
I mean, and then they went through a smear campaign, tried to bury it for 3 months, and I'm like, no one's really buying this. The numbers speak for themselves. No one's really gonna buy this.
Yes, personally, for me, I am one of the few people who like. I like Guardians. I hated Quantumania. That's me. I like Guardians. Disney Star Wars isn't bad. Only thing I didn't like was Mando season 3. There are some good things, but there's a lot of crap. Maybe Marvel could just be their own studio or sell to Sony. They could, but I mean, Amazon could buy Marvel. It's just a matter of
piece of shit.
Yes, thank you. The only thing is, I don't think Disney would sell Marvel.
No, that's not going to happen.
Because they built an entire park to Marvel. And
it did not crash and burn in less than 3 years.
And it did not.
I'm sorry, I'm on a roll today.
Yes, thank you. Nice one. Their Star Cruiser Hotel certainly did. But okay, so guys, do you agree with me basically, or like, do you think I'm missing something on my theories about the purchasing of the Snyderverse? Licensing the Snyderverse. I want to be clear on that. It's licensing.
Get it right, Jay. That's quite a
Freudian slip. Because guess what? Right. I got news for you. These types of deals happen all the time, and don't tell me that Netflix does not have enough to license the DC characters for like the Justice League, because they spend like over $200 million on series alone.
Say what you will about Netflix originals being 50-50. Say what you will. That's an objective criticism.
Yeah.
But if they're going to cover the majority of the production cost, Warner Brothers, especially under Zaslav, they'll do it.
Hashtag should be called Resolve. I can see that, but the resolving, that would be the most...
It's not as recognized. It's not as iconic, basically.
Yeah, at this point, you can't change the hashtag because the hash... Plus, here's the thing. Netflix got what the hashtag means. That's the interesting part. Because that article that came out, like, I think last week, said that, like, the head of Netflix was like, we'd love to license it. Because it just means more Zack. Even Netflix recognizes the value they have here.
But if I was thinking purely from a business standpoint, this could really go either way. There's too much bad blood over what happened with the previous regime, and ego is still going to play a factor, not just for Warner Brothers, but Hollywood in general. So if I had to keep it a buck, if I had to be completely honest, I see this as a 60-65% chance of happening, if I'm being completely honest.
It could be higher than that because Netflix is investing purely in Zack Snyder. So I know you'll say Warner Brothers, pettiness, but Zaslav is like licensing practically everything. If Netflix comes to him with a sweet deal and say we'd love to license this, we'll handle the production costs, I guarantee you Zaslav is going to go for it.
Definitely, that's a fair point. Now, under the old regime, this would be like
under the old regime, probably a 25% chance of
at best. At best.
Now, I would say it's like a 75% chance of happening. That's just me. What about you, Teladia?
I can see a 75% chance of Netflix acquiring the licensing rights for Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Well, let me put it this way: if they start streaming the Snyder Cut on Netflix, I think that's a sign that something is happening. Because why else would they do that? And I think that that's what they could do. Because I was watching a stream, and one of the panelists was like, they could put it on Netflix in between Rebel Moons Part 1 and 2, as a way of like keeping up Zack Snyder. Tevia asked, question: do you believe James Gunn's DC universe will succeed or fail over the Rebel Moon franchise? Is going to succeed
Too soon.
But what I do know, and Britt and I were talking about this on Legacy, and that episode's going to come out tomorrow. We don't think it's going to get beyond the Superman movie.
It really depends whether Superman Legacy can stick the landing.
Because if it doesn't, regardless of the sale, it's going to... Regardless of a sale, if this movie bombs, because if it's a sale and the movie bombs, the new regime is going to be doubly like, we don't want James Gunn in charge. Go away. If there's no sale and the movie fails, Zaslav is known for acting stuff that doesn't work. So
and cutting his losses. So
and they still haven't found a home for the Looney Tunes movie.
Wait, didn't Amazon say they were in talks?
They were in the running, but I think they were lowballing it.
Oh, okay.
And Netflix was also in the run.
Tomorrowverse, from what I've heard from my sources, Tomorrowverse is continuing because it was essentially a transition from after Apocalypse War. So if there's a sale, if they are going to sell off Warner Brothers again, then yes, I will confirm Tomorrowverse will be wrapped up or shelved in some kind of way. But for right now, it's going to continue after the Crisis trilogy. They just want to adapt it Crisis. Now, Crisis on Infinite Earths, you could have done as just a standalone overarching trilogy in of itself. You didn't have to use the Tomorrowverse designs. But I understand you want to get two for the price of one. Get your Tomorrowverse quote out the way and then move on with another storyline after that trilogy wraps up.
And again, we'll see what happens. But basically, Basically, a lot of the future is uncertain, even with the Army of the Dead universe, because remember, the Army of Thieves animated series is kind of on hold right now because there's like a lot of stuff happening with Netflix and Zack's schedule with like the Rebel Moon stuff. So even that is like really like the... Now, the question is, how would they schedule this? Let's say they do license it. How would they schedule this with like Army of the Dead and Rebel Moon and this? Well, what they could do now, and remember, this is all dependent on if the cast comes back. If the cast comes back, we're good. By the way, I still wonder what does this mean for Watch. I don't think we're gonna see. Here's the thing: I don't think we should be getting a Watchmen animated movie because we already got a live action, and it's gonna be seen as a downgrade.
But back to Army of Thieves discussion because that's what this stream is all
Back
about.
on top.
Yeah.
Back
let's
on
go
top.
back. Let's hashtag go full circle.
Transition.
But so on for Army of Thieves. The other thing I really like about this is I like how like neurotic and like hilarious Dieter is. He's definitely one of my favorite characters in this universe. I like how socially awkward he is. What do you guys think?
I like Dieter. Even though he's socially awkward, he reminds me a little bit of me when I started off on YouTube. Just saying. And
we all have gone through that stage, particularly in the beginning when he gets 0 views. I'm like, oh, I remember that. I heard something about how DC makes up with Watchmen every few years to retain the rights. That could be true. But anyway, so go on, Teladia.
And plus as well, when it comes down to the movie, like I forgot her name now. The boss lady, right? I call her boss lady.
Right.
Hang on, I'll pull it up. Army of Thieves.
I forgot her name.
Her name is Gwendolyn.
Gwendolyn, yes, that's it. Gwendolyn, right? When she's like instructing things, I find it interesting of what she does to Dita at the end of the film. I'm just like, a plot twist? Excuse me? Like,
well, yeah, because it's like she essentially sacrificed herself so Dieter can escape, and it showed character growth right there.
No, but you never see it come. But you never see it.
I did not see that coming. That is correct. Did not see that coming. But
didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I know. Where's neck in his clips? But yeah, so I also liked how like she's like how like Gwendolyn's like, don't worry, I take the rounds out of his gun all the time. He does it because it makes him feel tough. Yeah, so I enjoyed that. Let's see what other scenes that I really I liked all of the heists because each one felt like unique. You can tell the tension ramped up with each one because the idea is they're doing these safes in order of difficulty from least to most. So the tension has to go up. In fact, even with I like how they plan out like the third safe or like they steal the truck while the truck drivers are debating if Zac Efron's a zombie, which that was interesting. That was hilarious. And then they have a hand-to-hand combat fight in the truck. Then she leaves them. They lower the safe onto the truck, and then they just drive away. And I'm like, that was way too easy. But which one of the heists was y'all's favorite? I'll start with JJheat this time.
I got to start with the second one, the second heist, the one where the double cross happens, because I'm sorry, that's like, that's halfway through the movie. You really could get through this in under an hour and a half. Like this movie goes by pretty quick. You know what to expect, but the anticipation, the payoff, like who's going to screw it up, who's going to be the double cross. I just like this the second heist, me personally.
What about you, Teladia?
I would have to say the plot twist for the second heist as well, because it was anticlimactic, and then boom, the plot twist happens.
I agree with you, and I saw the plot twist kind of coming with how much of an a-hole Brad Cage was throughout the movie up to that point. I'm like, yeah, he's gonna leave him behind at one point as soon as he doesn't need him anymore. But I'm like, wait a second, why are you gonna leave him behind when you need him to crack the third safe? What are you doing? It's like he probably, but what it could be is that he was jealous because Dieter was making moves on his girl, and then he was like, he wasn't thinking clearly. So you can kind of think about it that way as well. I also like Rolf's intro, and Rolf is the getaway driver, where like he was like a chauffeur. The dude shows up and says, "I'll be in here for like 10 minutes. Don't park it." And he goes, "Okay." He just drives. He does a whole getaway heist with the dude's car, and then brings her right back. He goes, no tip. Okay. But which character of the crew was your favorite? And I'll start with you, Teladia.
Obviously, Dieter. Come on.
Yeah, probably Dieter. Let's say we can't say Dieter.
Oh, then is the boss lady.
So Gwendolyn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also with Gwendolyn, I liked how they basically you were discovering her origin with Dieter, as opposed to like them telling you all of this like straight up, and that's just good storytelling, and it's really what Zack does, or like Zack's. Because I realize that this is a Zack produced movie, but still. In movies where Zack is involved, the storytelling method he likes to use is the audience learns with the characters instead of them like having this big exposition dump in the beginning of the movie or like near the beginning. And I feel like that's fun because it makes you immersed in the movie itself. What do you guys think?
I agree with that. I agree with you on that, Jared.
Who is your favorite crew member, JJheat? And you can't say Dieter because I know we're all going to say Dieter.
I would have to say Gwendolyn as well.
And why is that?
Because she was no nonsense and all business, and when things took a curveball, as they often do at heist movies, she stuck her ground. Like I have to respect that, like for real.
And she sacrificed herself for the mission,
the greater cause.
For the greater cause, exactly. I also liked how like the vendetta the cop has because Cage shot him in the ass. I was like, oh, that's good. I love that. That's so he's basically getting payback for humiliation. That's really good. I enjoyed that one. But so now let's talk about this. Where do you think? All right. So in terms of like Army of the Dead, let's talk about our theories for Army of the Dead, because again, it's supposed to link to Rebel Moon. my thinking, you know how there's like robot zombies?
Yeah.
Maybe the technology that creates the robot zombies is what creates Jimmy and Rebel Moon later on down the line.
That's
Maybe.
not a bad. That's not a bad theory.
Because according to Zach, at least he hinted on the vodka stream that those robot zombies are like drones piloted by the government to like spy on the zombie society and see what's going on, see how they grow and such, and study them. So I'm thinking that could be like that. That could be and obviously we'll probably learn more about this in the animated series or in the sequel. I think it's called World of the Dead. But my point is, that's where because according to Zach, a character shows up in the animated show that's also in Rebel Moon. So I'm like, maybe Jimmy's older than we think. That's the interesting part when you think about it.
You might be onto something. This is why Zach needs to come on the show and talk to you about it.
Zach, if you were to come on Comics League, you'd be welcome. Just saying. What about you guys? Where do you see the Army of the Dead story going? Particularly now that the virus kind of got out, thanks to Devereaux.
Go on, JJheat. You go first.
As for me, the next fantasy season is like full World War Z, pandemonium, chaos all around. I can maybe with a bit of Last of Us mixed in, but that's just my take.
I could definitely see that.
Strictly the first one. Strictly the first one. Let me make that clear.
Yeah. Exactly. Strictly the first one. I got that one. That's a good one. What about you, Teladia?
I would have to say, I would have to agree with your speculation, Jared.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole robot zombie thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
Because and it's interesting when you think about it, because it could be Jimmy. I mean, he did build. He says like alternate universe too, so it could just be an alternate universe version of Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah. Jimmy is the robot that Anthony Hopkins plays in Rebel Moon. He's in the trailer for all of them. He's the one with the reindeer horns.
It's Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Sir Anthony Hopkins. Yes, thank you, Britt. But yeah, and that's the thing. So okay, so yeah, and JJheat. So to be clear, I could definitely. I think they are going to go into, because after all, the sequel is called World of the Dead. So when you consider that, it kind of makes, it's not World's Planet of the Dead. It makes sense that it would be like a planet-wide apocalypse. And now here's the question. How do you guys think? So since Zach said if you don't see them die, they're alive, how do you think Dieter survived? Do you think he gets turned into a zombie alpha?
Likely. I could see it. I could see him getting turned to a zombie alpha.
How about you? It could be a deceased, dope organic tech virus. That is true too. It could just be a mutated version of the virus that turns the insides like techno. What about you, Teladia?
I can see where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm. That's true. But what are your theories? I want to hear your theories.
It's hard to say, Jared. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Because
okay. Mm-hmm.
I already gave the basic concept of what I would say, but I hate to cut you off, Teladia.
No, it's really. It's hard for me to come up with like a theory, because it's. Don't forget, even the Army of the Dead and Rebel Moon are going to be connecting. It's like it's kind of going to be like, it could be the robot situation, or it could be something else entirely. So
we did see aliens in the beginning of Army of the Dead. If you look in the sky as the trucks are leaving the military base, you see those two lights fly off. So
you're not wrong.
Now what's interesting is that when Rebel Moon comes out, it'd be interesting if like we see like a reference to that, where we're like, oh man, there was this virus that hit Earth, and like this alien race dropped it as like a bio weapon. You never know, dudes. You never know. And with Zack, it's the way Zack works as a storyteller is that he'll bring up like random stuff and link it together. And when you put 2 and 2 together to make 4, it really like it blows your mind. David says on Earth, our Earth is dealing with the virus the same time the events of Rebel Moon are happening, and the virus somehow got off the planet and flies to Rebel Moon. Oh, that would be fun. If like a sequel to Rebel Moon is the zombie virus, that would be dope. Or here's what they could do. What they could do is, and picture this, Teladia, are you ready?
Yeah.
What if in the Rebel Moon universe we go to Earth and it's overrun by zombies? Like humanity loses in Rebel Moon. It would ask, how are the humans in space? But
cool.
Yeah, if they could somehow reconcile that, that could be a way to link it to a Rebel Moon, even though it's like alternate universes, it would still kind of line up.
That'd be pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, exactly. And in terms, and by the way, in the chat, drop your theories for the Army of the Dead universe and how maybe it links to Rebel Moon, because again, we gotta start talking about this, because guess what? Next movie night, actually, okay, so the way it's gonna work, next movie night is going to be the Dawn of the Dead by Zack Snyder, and then it's going to be Rebel Moon. I believe that's the way we're doing it. So let me just check that real quick. Yeah, it's going to be Dawn of the Dead and then Rebel Moon. The way we're going to do Rebel Moon is either we'll do a live watch party and then discussion, or we'll just watch it and then discuss it. Either way, what do you guys think? Are you impartial to a whole watch party, or
I
want to do a watch party. I'm down.
I want to do a watch party.
All right. And in the chat, are you guys down for a Rebel Moon watch party with us live reacting to the movie? And then obviously we'll do the whole movie night discussion after the movie. So in other words, it's gonna be like an extra long movie night with the Rebel Moon stuff. So just let me know. Okay, David says watch party. And barring any no votes, okay, we're doing a watch party. So there you go. It's going to start. I think we'll start at the same time as like a regular watch party. And we'll do it on a Friday so we can get like right as the movie comes out. We'll stream it from my thing like we normally do with movie nights. And then at the end, we'll discuss it. Okay, so we have our plan. And again,
okay, will this take place at CLD? Or will that be a double stream that day?
It takes the place of CLD.
Gotcha.
Barring any like really crazy like announcements, like Zack is doing more DC movies, this is gonna take the place of CLD.
All right, we're in agreement.
Because after all, CLD, we're just gonna talk about Rebel Moon anyway. So what difference does it make, really, when you think about it?
So if we do like movie, like 2 hours for movie night,
2 hours, so 2 hours 18 for I believe is the runtime of the movie, and then we'll do like maybe an extra hour or so talking about the movie.
All right, sounds like a plan.
That should be really fun, and so that's gonna be dope. I really can't wait for that, because again, Rebel Moon sounds freaking dope.
And if my plans have to be changed, I will let you know just ahead of time.
Yeah, and I'll talk to Nick. Man. I'll talk to Nick about Friday Night Frenzy if he wants to show up for it. But anyway, so we're doing a watch party. Okay, good. The people have spoken. And okay, so and again, Dawn of the Dead is this Saturday. So we basically have 2 weeks of zombies and then 1 week of Star Wars for Zack Snyder. So yay! And I don't know about you guys, if it's announced that he's doing and Netflix is licensing the Snyderverse to continue it, we will be doing a 3-part watch party of all three. We will be rewatching the DC movies that tie into the Snyderverse. So that would be like Man of Steel, BVS, Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, ZSJL, and Aquaman.
Are we gonna do?
Take it easy, David.
Take it easy, David. Are we going to be doing Ultimate Edition of BVS now?
I'm not even going to dignify that with an answer because that should be obvious at this point.
Wait, didn't we do a watch party for Ultimate Edition a while back, like last year?
No, we
Yeah.
did a discussion of it. We can do a full-on watch party of all 3 movies. I've done like
No,
two
I-
ZSJL ones,
I
but we
think-
might as well do another one.
I think we did do a watch party. I can't remember whose channel it was.
We kind of did a watch party when we did Full
I wanna say-
Circle. Well, except it wasn't like streamed.
Yeah.
So we'll actually stream it, and then by the way, also my plan for 2024. Just want to let you guys know this: I'm gonna have all new streaming clips. Particularly, like one of them is gonna be Zack Snyder saying Wonder Bat doesn't work.
Hey, you ain't bothering me.
Look
You
at
are
you.
not bothering
You have
me.
no idea how happy I was when he said that, because I was really concerned. I was like,
JJheat's face just drops.
he just dropped.
Hey,
so-
I'm laughing, man. It was a fun interview. Like seriously.
Yeah, and then I promised you all, eventually we will get Zach on the show, and you can ask him all the questions you want.
Oh, and don't forget, next year's Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, as we will be live streaming that.
Yeah, we will be live streaming that. I have to figure out how to get that to work with my Xbox, but I will be doing that. Hopefully, I'll also have a gaming PC at that point, so we can start doing DC Online, and then we'll also be gaming with all of you. You guys can join us. And so, so let's go back to talk about Army of Thieves. How do you guys rate the movie out of 10?
I'd give
Solid.
it an 8 out of 10.
Solid 9.5 for me, man.
Same. I say 9.5 out of 10. In terms of like it doesn't really have a lot of flaws, or like flaws that I care about that would like distract me from the movie. That's why 9.5. The reason I say 9.5 instead of 10 is because it's no ZSJL. So that's like one of the only movies that deserves a 10 out of 10. But still, fantastic movie, and it's awesome. And what is up? Live long and prosper, my dude. And yeah, that's where I would go. And honestly, now let me ask you guys this before we wrap up. Do you think this is better than Army?
I'd say
Army-
Army slightly edges out. Slightly.
Yeah, slightly edges out Army of the Dead.
I say it's a little better. Here's why.
Go on.
Okay, it doesn't rely so much because the problem with Army is that it introduces all these concepts like time travel and them doing the same thing over and over again suddenly and without explaining it. In Thieves, when they introduce something, it's a little less like you have to like really think about it in order to like understand, which again, I get it's the whole, you have to engage with it, but it doesn't introduce anything so suddenly and jarringly, if you know what I'm saying, if you guys agree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Otherwise, I love Army of the Dead. Let me be clear. I love Army of the Dead. It's just that one point there where I'm like, okay, what was setting this up? I don't get it. But anyway, that's our rankings. Now, where does this rank in the Zack Snyder involved movies with you guys?
Easily top 5 for me.
Really?
Easily.
How about you, JJheat?
I'd say top 5 as well.
Mm-hmm. So my top Snyder movies, or Snyder involved movies, let me be clear, are Man of Steel, BVS, ZSJL. Obvious.
Yes.
That has to be 3.
Yes.
300 and Army and then Thieves.
For me,
Actually, Thieves and then Army.
For me, it's Man of Steel, BVS, Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, that is. Then I would do Army of Thieves, then Army of the Dead, then 300.
Nice. How about you, JJheat?
For me, I'd say out of the whole trilogy, I'd rank Army higher than Thieves. And I'd say Thieves is the lowest ranked out of all of them so far. It's just because I'm not nitpicking per se, it's because it's so standalone. Like there's not really much of a contrast. Like it could really be its own story as the apocalypse is going on, and nothing changes. If I'm being completely honest.
That is true, because you could just edit out all of the like references to the zombies and then it just flows together as a heist movie. Interesting point. That's actually a good way to think about that. That's interesting. Which that actually adds up to the movie's favor, because you get the crowd that's not a zombie fan crowd, as opposed to like, because to a certain degree you do have people turned off because it's a zombie movie. And see you later, Tavia. We're about to wrap up as well, but so you do have a bunch of people that probably won't watch the movie because it's a zombie movie. So when you separate it to the degree that that Thieves is, it kind of gives it that much of an advantage, I would say. So, as I brought up earlier, I think this is a good place to leave it. There's, in terms of like, we all love the movie. It's awesome. And we look forward. So again, to reiterate the plan, next movie night is Dawn of the Dead. And then we are going to talk about Rebel Moon finally. We're going to do a watch party and discussion for Rebel Moon.
Yes.
All right.
So, okay. So, Teladia, where can one find you? And what have you got coming on the channel?
On X, you guys can find me at Teladia Plays _ and on YouTube, you can find me at Teladia Plays. I have got the Snyder Fans Read Comics series with Jared and JJheat, as we talk about Justice League New 52. And I also do have a collab with JJheat on Tuesday. Yep, Tuesday, as we're going to be talking about the Game Awards and Budokai Tenkaichi 4, otherwise known as Sparkling Zero.
Hey.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about that. And I don't know, maybe collab with Sil. I still got to organize that up with him, because there's a lot happening for gaming wise, including the Blade game and the what's it called, the Suicide Squad Killer Justice League trailer. We'll be talking about that with him. So I've got to organize that up with him. But other than that, just make sure you hop over to my channel, check out my reaction video that I just posted a couple of days ago. It's doing really well. So.
And by the way, all of their links will be in the description of the stream. JJheat, where can we find you and what have you got coming out?
As for me, my Sword Tour playthroughs are out on the channel for a reason for Sith Warrior and Jedi Counselor. Also, we've officially reached 180, so I have to, alongside these two knuckleheads, do a watch along and review of Gotham Knights, the TV show.
Again, to be clear, we don't have Teladia and I don't have to watch Gotham Knights. We just have to watch you watching Gotham Knights. You're the one that's going to suffer.
Hey man, I've read a lot of bad comics and watched a lot of bad TV shows.
Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet, dude. You ain't seen nothing yet.
This is JJheat.
Yeah, we will break you.
And to that I say, bring it on. But you can find me on X, JJheat75, JJheat Blaze on YouTube. And be on the lookout. Now, I know this got delayed. I had a lot of last-minute stuff to do with the holidays. But my Captain Marvel 2 or the Marvels review, God help me, will be out within the next few days. So please.
Did you give it a 10 out of 10 so you're not a toxic male?
He left.
So worth it. So freaking worth it.
53 minutes, 46 seconds.
Yes, send me, DM me on Twitter the numbers. That is so good. All right. Yeah. So in terms of Comics League, Britt and I and Tevia, if you're still here, you're going to love this. So thank you, JJheat. That was a fantastic moment. Tevia, you're going to love this. Britt and I are going to talk about why John Kent is useless as a character. There you go. And in terms of Indie Wednesday, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about the book Ghost Tree, Under Two Capes. This was a decision that Nick and I made when we were doing our DCEU tier list. By the way, check out that episode. We are going to fix the Flash.
Oh,
And by the Flash, I mean the Flash movie. So JJheat, Teladia, be prepared. Bring your ways to fix the Flash, because we will be repairing that movie and trying to make it a better Flash movie.
Okay.
Now, a little rule, it has to follow the same basic idea.
Simple.
In other words, we can't
Amazons
make
and
it.
Atlanteans go to war. There's your movie right there.
Well, yeah, we can't make it not Flashpoint. That's the point. But anyway, we'll talk about that next week. And again, movie night is going to be Dawn of the Dead. So be prepared for that as we get all hyped up for Rebel Moon. So stay heroic. And remember, JJheat will be broken by Gotham Knights.